College is a scam. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. College is a scam. The statistics show it. The statistics show that millennials, pretty much our generation, I don't know what year the viewers was born, but millennials are the most educated society in history and the poorest. We have the least amount of wealth. So we have the most education, but the least amount of wealth.
Yeah.
Our generation, they push college, higher education. The more of that shit we got, the less money we got, the more debt we got. So when I say college is a scam, mind you, college is good for certain things. You want to be a nurse. You want to get into like engineering, or you want to be a lawyer. It's some shit you can't avoid. Yeah. Something specific. But if you're going to college for a communications degree,
come on.
In 2023, what are you about to do with that for real? So, and this is another issue I got that I want to address. I hate when people say, "Oh, you graduated at YouTube University or TikTok University." You do realize these things are replacing college. You can learn stuff on YouTube.
I'm a YouTube
or TikTok.
University.
Oh, and saying that you had to spend thousands to learn at college before, where you can learn at your own house in a matter of days or hours or minutes. So when you do research, you get it out of a book. It's all secondhand information anyway. None of this shit that you're studying, you were there for live. This is all things that happened in history. Nothing's new under the sun. The only difference with YouTube and TikTok, same as a book. Cite your sources, make sure they're valid. You know what I'm saying? Cross-reference where you get your information from. But it's the same information that's in a book in audio format, in video format.
And even that, most of the greatest people didn't even finish high school.
Exactly. Most of the millionaires,
You know what I mean?
they hire people that went to college. But I didn't graduate.
You got
know
people
what I'm
like Dr. Sebi that didn't even do certain things and became one of the greatest to do shit. You know what I mean? They had to get rid of that man.
Or people like, Malcolm X. He all he was doing was reading books and in jail, and was educating himself by himself. He didn't go to no school. Yeah, so I think that's true. I think now, I mean, it all depends on your goal, right? Because I kind of look at it, because we talked about this on the other pod, as what we can do in our communities. And I feel like with I don't know if it's Gen Z, their focus more now is social media, right? And it's more like getting it on their own. But with that, the government has somewhat been able to take it and corrupt it, where they putting certain people in front of us. Like I said, like they put in front of you the 15-year-old that makes $1 million from trying foods. So you kind of like, well, let me go do some bullshit like that. Oh, I didn't make it. Like, damn, I'm going to be nothing in life, And it's like, nah, that's not the case. You got to just be strategic. And I think it goes maybe even deeper. Like when you're a child, you need parents, or you need somebody to kind of instill in you to not be a follower, be a leader. But it's so hard when you're brought up in the school system, because that's what it's pushing. But I think that a lot of people can go to school and get a degree in something that's going to get them at least some good income. And then from there, you got to start making decisions. Okay, how do I get out of this? As long as you don't get no debt. Like, because you could go to community college, get a BOG waiver. That's $20 for the whole year. The whole year. And if you do that 2 years, you bust down, you get a 2-year degree. You can go make $25 to $30 an hour. Now, that's not crazy money, but it's better than minimum wage. And it gives you a little wiggle room if you live below your means to create that business, you know what I mean? To fund it, to watch it grow. So I feel like y'all generation definitely went, did more school than that. But we doing more of this than educating ourselves. We got a lot of people that's on social media that's just selling lies, not really educated, and they making money off of it. So it's very, for me, it's like, I don't know.
I feel like school, like he said, it's a storehouse for information. Now you going to school and getting these degrees, but when you're getting these degrees, say if I wanted to, this ain't a degree, but a lot of people are getting degrees and they are in distress in this day and time, because them degrees are just, I got a degree and what else after that? They're not teaching you how to get a degree. And say if I wanted to sell cars or something, to teach me how to build clientele on that. They're not teaching me how to apply these degrees. You get what I'm saying? They're teaching you to learn all this information. Now you got a degree, but they're not teaching you how to apply it and to get the best out of having a degree. You get what I'm saying? So I think that's the fault in that. And they're teaching you exactly how to think you got to think from elementary school. They're teaching us what they want us to know. They're not teaching us nothing that's legit, knowing yourself, of financial literacy. They're not teaching us nothing that we're going to apply in real life. We got kids that question this right now in middle school. Like, what am I going to school for?
It's
like,
stupid.
they are. And then how do you tell them, like, yeah, just go? Even though I know it's stupid, but just take your ass to school.
You're like, what
you
the
know
hell?
what I mean? It's like,
That's what I'm dealing with right now.
they already figuring that out. Like,
what I'm dealing
man,
with.
I don't need to know this shit, and I don't even want to do half the shit that they talking about.
Yeah.
So what am I really going to school for? Now you frustrated because your kids want to rebel, but even though you know they're thinking the right way because they're thinking outside the box. They're not trying to be sheep. They're not trying to be led. They're like, man, I can go start doing this myself right now. I don't even want to do that. So I feel like it's a negative and a positive. But like he said, anywhere you acquire information from is good. But question anybody. Question us. Be skeptical about everything. Because when people spit things to me, I want to know, how do you know? That's the main question you can ask anybody to determine if it's fact or fiction. How the fuck do you know what you saying is going to be truth or not? And if they can't tell you how they know, then 9 times out of 10, it's a lie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the thing about college, I like that you said it's like a storehouse of information. Just graduating, there's plenty of idiots with a degree. This is what people don't realize. Having a degree does not mean you're smart. School means you knew how to memorize information to pass a test. School itself, when you look at the school board and when John D. Rockefeller basically molded it, it was to create employees, workers, non-thinkers. Just think about that. The school board itself, the whole school system was designed to create non-thinkers. You go get a bunch of useless knowledge, 90% of it is garbage that you're never going to use ever in real life. You're never going to apply this. You just memorize a bunch of knowledge, pass a bunch of tests, they hand you a piece of fucking paper. Then you go off in the real world and you get hit with real problems with all this massive amount of debt that you acquired, and you don't, it's sink or swim, and your ass is sinking, guaranteed. 90% of the time, people is out here unaliving themselves at the highest rates, drug abuse, alcohol abuse. I mean, it's through the roof. I will say we talk a lot of shit about Gen Z. I think Gen Z gonna be the generation to change all this, because my kids are Gen Z. And like he said, in middle school, they like, why am I learning? Like, they're literally questioning the work. Like, I learned more on TikTok, even though we talk shit. They got the STEM TikTok. My son telling me all type of shit about fucking engineering and all this shit that I'm Googling, and he in the fucking 7th grade. I'm like, nigga, what? What the fuck is this? Like, they teaching me shit. And they going to school like, why am I reading Cinderella? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like,
history that's not even true.
History that's not even true.
Yeah.
So you stockpiling information. They say knowledge that's not applied is useful. So most college students, you just stockpile unlimited knowledge and you never fucking use it. If it's not gonna help you reach your purpose in life or your goal, the knowledge is really useless. You just know a bunch of stats.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How is this helping? What do you want to do for a living? Is this gonna help you get there?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
So why do I need to memorize all this shit? So yeah, man, that shit is a fucking scam, man.
I think too, thankful for the millennials though for kind of figuring that out, because without those types of parents, we wouldn't have these types of kids. Because like you said, like y'all had a different type of parent where it's like, we don't really know, but this is the American dream. Go to college, get a degree, do this, do that. Now it's more like, well, shit, we went through that. We don't really know if that's going to work. So, man, let's see, maybe let me put my money behind what you want to do a couple times. You might have the the keys to it. Another thing, school was at least taken from, there was a general, I forget which country it was, but they was getting waxed every time they was going to war. And so he was like, man, they had a school, and I think it was for like 6 months or a couple years, something like that. And they kept losing, their soldiers were weak. So he was like, he had to implement, we got to get these kids when they're young, and we got to train them up to be the best soldiers that they could be. So by the time they're 18 or 19, they're really ready to go to war, because they kept losing the war. And then that's where we adapted that method from. So it really does come from getting people young and molding them to do a certain thing for whatever that is. It could be to win a war, or it could be, like we said, just to be in this rat race, being a worker, which that's what it is for here in America. So I definitely do agree with that. And you see a lot of kids now that don't need school. Shit, I make more money than some niggas I know that have been still in school. So it's like, you just got to apply yourself at the end of the day. And I always tell people, tweak your resume, do whatever you want to do if you're getting a job, because they got to train everybody that gets the same training. Everybody gets the same training every job. So if you could get your foot in that door and show somebody you hungry and you ready to go, and then they give you that training, that's going to elevate you. Don't worry about the credentials that's necessarily going to look good on paper beforehand. If you can get in there and win somebody over at your interview or wherever you are, you can definitely go further. You don't have to have the credentials, and I know that for a fact. So
look, I will say this: shout out to all the blue collar workers out there.
Oh yeah,
they don't get a lot of limelight. They don't get a lot of love, but they're literally keeping the world afloat. So a lot of these kids, we need to start pushing to get trades as well, because with AI taking over a lot of these jobs that kids is going to school to get these degrees for, you go to college, get all this debt, get this degree, you pop out in the real world, and they replace your whole shit with AI. Mm-hmm. You can't even get a job in the industry that you dedicated your life to. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to all the blue collar workers out there. Shout out to all the jobs that AI can't replace.